New Form Builder has just arrived in Framer, which brings fully functional forms natively into Framer without the need of any third-party integration. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to create these forms, customize them, and collect data from these forms without writing a single line of code. So let's dive into it. I have already prepared an area where our form will go. To add a form, just go to Insert menu, go to Forms, and just drag it into your frame. And boom, we have a form already created for us. The great thing about how they have created these forms is that these forms are completely customizable. You have complete freedom to design it however you want. Let's look at the layer structure of the form that we just brought in. At the top level, we have a frame that encloses the entire form, and it's by default a vertical stack, which is great. There are some additional properties in the form. For example, what happens when somebody submits the form, and redirection to another page. We will talk about that in just a minute. Besides these properties, it's just a regular stack, which means you can resize it, add padding to it, change gap, even add fills, borders, and shadows. For now, let's remove the gap and undo it to 20 and padding 20. And actually, let's set the width to fill the content. Now within the parent form, we have a set of stacks called labels that basically groups input with a text label. This is extremely important from accessibility point. These label stacks, although do have a different icon, but underneath they are just regular stacks, which again means we have complete freedom to customize these. Within this labels, we have the text box and the input itself. This text box is just a regular text box. You can customize it to make it look however you want. I will show you that in just a few minutes, but let's have a look at this input. This input is where actually the magic happens. You can choose from 4 different categories of input. The 4 high-level categories include text input, select, which brings up a drop-down to select any option, checkboxes to toggle multiple options, and finally a radio input. Each input has its own properties that we can modify. Another awesome feature is that these inputs have native browser validation so that users can add properly formatted inputs. We can select a type of input, for example, a text, email, or a date picker, to inform browser to add a specific validation to the input. We can choose between text, which is a single line of text like names, text area for longer text like messages, email, which will validate format of an email address, number, which validates that text is a number. Phone number property will prompt mobile browsers to open a keypad instead of a keyboard to type the numbers, and that's really cool. URL type also prompts the mobile browsers for adjusted keyboard. Date type automatically opens up a native date picker. Similarly, time will open a browser's native time picker. Another property we have for the input is a name. This determines how the data should be labeled when it's submitted and we receive it. We have a placeholder property to show a text before user has typed anything. And we also have a required field option so that you can make certain input mandatory to fill before submitting the form. Now that you know how to create a form and change different input types, now let's actually customize the form and design the form that we need. The first thing we need to add to our form page is a header. I've already created a simple header that I'm gonna bring inside the frame, just like this. These are just regular text, nothing special about them. Remember, I am adding them to a high-level frame, not inside the form. Form is a completely separate frame. Now, as you can see, we have a little padding problem because our form is not perfectly aligned with the header. So what I'm going to do is select the form and remove the padding and set it to 0. Perfect. Now let's customize this label. Select the label, go to content and change it to first name. The label is now updated. I can further modify it, but we will do that later. Now let's change the input. Select the input, The input here is already a text type, as you can see, and that's exactly what we need. Next, change the name to the first name because we need it to be labeled first name when we receive the submission. Also, change the placeholder to just Jane as it's just a first name. Perfect. Now, let's change this to a required field because we need the user's first name to be captured in every case. I want another field here for last name, so I'm just going to duplicate this label once. It's just going to add another label just next to it. Now, again, change this text to last name, just like this. Now select the input inside. Now let's change the name to last name, and the placeholder will be Smith as it's just a last name. And let's set this as not required. Next field that I need is in email, and this is already an email field, and the type is also email, so that's all good. So maybe what I need to do is just change the placeholder to something like your email at xyz.com and change the required to yes. Now let's actually add another new field inside the form. Just select the form and click this plus icon here and click text. It will add another text input set to email by default. Now assume that this needs to be a date picker because I need to select a date of birth. So I'm just going to change it to a date type, just like this. Also change the name to something like date of birth, which will be submitted with the data. Date of birth is not a mandatory field, so I'm just going to set it to no. And for the name of the label, I'm just going to change it to date of birth. There you go. Perfect. You can also change the position of any input by just changing its position in the stack, just like this. Now let's assume that we need the date of birth and the location side by side. But before that, actually let's change the location and look at different properties. I'm just going to change the label to country. And when I select this drop down, I will see some additional options on the right panel. I can change the name to whatever I want, and I can select the required field, and I can even add or remove the options in the drop down. Let's add another one. Let's set it to London and London as the view property, and you can even add a divider or make it enabled by default or disabled by default, whatever you want. For now, let's keep it like this. Now let's place them together side by side. I'm just gonna select both of these frames and right click. I'm just gonna select them again, right click and add another stack on top of these two components. And now as you can see that these two labels are inside this stack. And I can change the direction to horizontal and change the padding to something like 32. Finally, we need a checkbox. To add a checkbox, select the form, click plus and select checkbox. And boom, now we have a checkbox ready to go. And luckily the text is exactly what I need, but I can modify it if I want. I can even add a link to a privacy policy or something if I want, just like in a regular text box. Our basic form is ready. So let's preview it to see everything works. As you can see, everything is working fine. We have the first name, we have our last name. You can enter your email. And if you don't enter a correct format of email, it will show you the correct validation for that email, correct format for the users to input the correct format. And for the date picker, we have native browser's date picker. And from the drop down, we can select any option that we want, and the checkbox also works. The structure of the form is basically ready, but I promised you to show you how to customize the design. So let's do that now. First thing, let's select all these labels and change the color of these labels to our body color. I've already defined the color as body text, so I'm just gonna select that and boom, we have our body text color inside here, and I'm going to change the font size to 14 pixels. I can further modify it, like changing font and everything, but let's keep it like this. Now let's change the text colors for this input. For the placeholder, I'm going to change this placeholder color option and set it to my placeholder color text. I've already defined that, so I'm just going to select that, this one. And for the color of the text, I need it to be body text. When some text is typed in, it will be body text color. I can even change the font size and font style and everything right from here. But for now, I'm going to keep it like this. Another great thing is that I can even modify the focus color if I want right from here. So if I need the border to be my theme color, which is purple, I can change it right from here. I'm going to set it to purple 500. And now it's set. So let's close this. And let's actually preview this to see if it works. Select this text input, and now you can see when it's focused, we have this purple border here. So it's 100% customizable. We need to copy these styles to other inputs. So right click on the input, go to copy and click copy style. And now we select the other inputs just like this, one by holding shift key and click paste and paste style. There you go. Now everything is styled just like how we did for the first input. Let's preview this. Our first input is perfect. The second input, the third input, fourth input, and finally the last input is also styled as we want it. I'm quite happy with the text inputs. Now let's modify this blue color for the checkbox. I want it to match the color theme. So let's select this, go into the focus options, change the color to purple, just like this. Similarly, you can go into the checked option and set the fill to our purple color as well. You can imagine how you can completely redesign your forms within just seconds. Let's preview this. Let's check the checkbox, and there you go. We have our theme color inside our checkbox. Let's change the design of this button. This is another great thing about Forms in Framer, that it supports component. For example, this button, if I go into this component, I can see different variants of this button already coming in out of the box. It has success, loading, even states like hover and pressed. Let's change the color, our primary variant, to purple, and it's automatically gonna change it because this is the primary variant, except for the error, which is overriding some styles. I quite like the error button, so I'm just gonna leave it like this. For the hover button, I'm gonna set the fill to a darker purple color, and for the pressed variant, I'm gonna set it to a darkest purple color. There you go. Let's go back to home and let's preview our form. This is looking just beautiful. See how easy it is to create the form that you desire. No limitation. We are still missing the fundamental functionalities of this form. So let's fill out this form and let's see what I mean. Select a date, just like this. Select a country and choose checkbox. See, nothing happens when I click this submit button. What we want is to collect the data that is filled in by the user and also redirect the user to a thank you page. To do that, let's go back to home, select the top level form, and remember we talked about these two options in the start of this video. Here we can set where we need to send this data once it's submitted. Click on it and you see three options: email, webhook, and Google Sheets. If I select email, I get a few more options like where to send the email. I'm going to enter my email. You can choose a name, subject, and a body if you want, but I'm going to leave it like this and close this. Now when I preview and fill in the form and hit submit, I'm going to receive this completed form data in my email completely formatted. Have a look at this. This is what you will get in your email once the user submits this form. You can add multiple ways to collect this data. So if you click add and if you click webhooks, you can connect a third-party API just like this by entering the API URL right in here, and it will automatically submit your data to that URL. Now let's talk about Google Sheets. Click add and select Google Sheets. It's going to ask me to connect my Google account. If you click connect, it's going to prompt you to select your Google account and give access Framer to create a Google Sheet using your Google account. Once it's authenticated, just click add and it's going to pop up to ask you a name for your sheet. So let's type a name. I'm going to type something like Framer tutorial, and this will be the name of the Google Sheet that we are creating, where the data will be submitted. Now it's connected, so I'm just going to close this. We're going to test it in just a few minutes, but before that, let's check out this redirection option. I want the user to be redirected to another page when the form is successfully submitted. So if you click redirect, it's gonna give you an option to select one of the Framer pages. So I've already created a thank you page, so I'm just gonna select that just like this. And now let's go ahead and preview this. Fill out this form really quick. Select a date, country, and now once I hit submit, it's going to take me to this thank you page. And the data is also submitted to the email and the Google Sheet. Let's actually preview that Google Sheet to make sure the data is there. Close this. You can even access the Google Sheets directly from here by just clicking on it. There you go. Our submitted data is in there properly labeled. Now whenever a user fills out my form, this sheet will keep growing and it's going to keep adding all the records that are submitted through the form that we have just created. So that was it for today's video. Go ahead and start creating your own forms and start collecting leads directly from Framer. No need to connect any third-party components anymore. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. A lot of effort goes into creating these videos. Show your appreciation by giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. It means a lot. And like always, Average Giant Dude signing off. Peace out.